All right, so you want to make games in 2025. And hey, you maybe want to make a career out of this. Imagine sitting in your bedroom or your home office and making indie games that come straight out of your brain and onto your computer monitor. That's exactly what Tom Francis has done for over a decade. With no outside funding, no publisher, Tom has released some wildly successful indie games that all came out of his brilliant mind, like Gunpoint, Heat Signature, and his latest hit, Tactical Breach Wizards, which won Excellence in Design at IGF this year. This video is a clip from the full-length podcast, and in it, Tom goes into detail about how to start making games in 2025, and specifically, the crucial ingredients you'll need to actually finish your game and hopefully make some money doing it. If you're someone who wants to make a living making indie games, it's best to listen to someone who's actually doing it right now. This conversation is gold, so stick around. And by the way, if you need help on your game, but you don't want to partner up or hire somebody, perhaps consider a tool that is, well, almost like a real person that will help you with your project. The tool is called Bezi, and it's today's sponsor. Bezi's like having a development partner, and with their new agent mode, it's almost like you're adding another team member. It doesn't just respond to your prompts. It has this full context of your entire project and makes tailored suggestions by searching your assets, your scripts, your scene graph, Unity docs, and even the internet to give you the most accurate help possible. See, with agent mode, you can modify and create code directly in your project through the Bezi app. It speeds up repetitive tasks, helping debug tricky issues, pinpoint performance bottlenecks, and it even tracks every change so you can revert at any time. I've been trying it out on my own projects for a while, and I recently made a full video showing how it quickly helped me fix 4 very real issues I've been meaning to fix in my game Brave Boy. It really shows how powerful Bezi can be and how much time it can save during development. So definitely check it out through the link below. The best thing is that Bezi is completely free to try, and if you like it, you can get 50% off your first month of Pro using the link in the description. I've got young people in my life, nieces, nephews, kids of friends, and they want to make games. They want to do what you're doing. They want to do what I'm doing, but you're killing it. You're just crushing it. And I also am really impressed by you because you haven't taken outside funding, and so you figured out how to completely do this from scratch, and that's super duper impressive. So what do you tell these people, these young people? What's the plan? What's the framework? How do you land where you've landed?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing to say is like to manage expectations. The thing I did worked in 2013 and probably wouldn't work today. Like it's much harder today to do what I did, which is start something in your spare time, mess around with it. At the time, I needed artists and composers. I put out a little video of it and showed what I had and said, hey, does anyone want to work on this with me? But it might be free. We might not charge for it. So wasn't offering any money. But if we did charge for it, we'd do revenue share. And just don't risk anything was my strategy. Like just let's experiment and see where we're going. It can be risky to go into it with teammates. If you decide like 5 of us are going to make a game together, I think that there's so much that can go wrong there. If that's how you start. I think
what can go wrong?
People having different ideas about what the game's going to be, people being unreliable, might be great friends with someone and you know that they make music or whatever, and then only once the project starts do you realize, oh God, working with this person is hell. They keep changing their mind, they keep throwing their work away. A healthy professional relationship with someone who's also talented at something you're not talented at is very rare to find, I think. And you like working with them and you still like being friends with them and all of that. I'm very lucky to have found those people. When I started, it was to find out, can I do game design? I've been a critic for a while and I've been trying to suppress the armchair game designer in me when I'm reviewing stuff. I'm like, okay, my job is to say whether this game is good or not and why. There's a part of me that wants to say what they should have done instead. Like, I don't see why they didn't do it this way. Why isn't there a mini map in this? Why can't you load an early save in this? And I had all these ideas and theories and wanted to put them to the test, but I knew I couldn't judge myself unless I built something. So I had to learn programming to do that. I didn't want to be a programmer particularly. I just had to learn what I needed to learn to build something. And I think I'd advise anyone to do that, even if you're an artist and you want to be an artist, like learn enough that you can build something. It doesn't have to be GameMaker or Unity. You could do like a Twine game or something. But there are so many different tool sets out there that you can mess around with that have good tutorials, and you don't need to build something. You don't need to build a good game to test whether you can make good art for it or a writer. I know a lot of writers who would like to be writing for games, but haven't had an experience doing it. And I think you just got to make something of your own. And then you'll find out whether you like doing that. And having those skills is going to be useful anyway. Like our programmer, John Winder, one of the reasons that he was appealing to me even on paper before I met him and tried working with him is that he had made a jam game. He'd actually won the game Jam with this jam game Flourish. And just knowing he'd been through the whole thing from start to finish was very reassuring of like, okay, this person is going to know that when you're making games, sometimes you have to take shortcuts. Sometimes you have to, he's going to have a practical mindset about it. And so that's great. I think anyone who, if you're looking to get a job at an existing studio, they are going to love that you've made something that they can play and that you've been through the whole thing. Like this just gives you a bit of peace of mind about a candidate, that they know what making a game is like, even if it's a very small and simple thing. And then, doing that is going to teach you what you have on your hands. Like, have I made something that stands out? Have I made something that I'm proud of? Are my friends excited about it? If they are excited about it, then show it publicly, and show it publicly either way, I think, and see if the public get any attention. I obviously had a big head start in this as well, because being a games journalist, all my friends not only were into games, but also had a good handle on the industry and what's out there. And so when they told me this is something interesting, I think you should charge money for this, I could believe them and take it seriously, because it meant something. I knew that, like, okay, they're my friends and they'd be nice to me, but they wouldn't be this nice out of politeness. Like, for them to say that as a games journalist means something. But anything, if you make anything that excites your friends, I think that's a good sign. Yeah, who was I listening to the other day who was talking about their very first game? Oh, it was the person who made The Root Trees Are Dead. They'd made a bunch of games that didn't really go anywhere as part of game jams. And when they started showing The Root Trees Are Dead to people, like, people would get addicted to it. They would just lose themselves in it, and he'd never seen that before. And so that was when he knew he had something that he could, make something of. And I think that's a really good approach. Just, Would
you finish a game if you didn't get a good response from your friends or your local circle?
Probably not. A few times I've started on an idea and shown it to people and just not got the enthusiasm that I hoped for. And what I find is that it kills my own enthusiasm. Part of my enthusiasm is not just that I want to make this for myself, although I do. It's that I think people will be excited by this. And then when I find out they're not going to be excited by it, then I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. You've got to be pretty flexible with that stuff. There's some things I did, there's an aspect of this next game that I pitched to some friends, and it didn't get quite as positive a response as I thought it would, or as I hoped. And they had some very fair issues with it, and I rethought it in response to their issues, and they liked the new version better, but I still didn't necessarily walk away with like the boost of enthusiasm that I want to get from showing people. But with this idea in particular, I found myself still really fixated on it. It's a fairly like complicated thing. It's a little bit hard to pitch, so I'm not too put off that people haven't quite seen it yet. I haven't built anything really yet, so that's the main thing, is I'm just pitching the idea. So there could be something wrong with the pitch, and I really want to go further with it and build enough that we can do, ideally a prototype, but if not, like a mock-up trailer where we show like, here's what we would show if we had the game, and see if that excites you.
If something's hard to pitch, doesn't that mean that it's potentially a bad idea?
Yeah. And I think that's another thing to say to people who are starting out is if you pitch your idea to people and they don't get it, then that might be a red flag. I'm hoping I've been through the process enough times now to sort of tell the difference between the pitch. I mean, I've pitched it again since these revisions to new people. I pitched it a lot at GDC to friends, and I got a really good response then. And it's got a title that we're not announcing yet, but sometimes when I say a title for people, they're like, "Oh yeah, awesome!" That was the Tactical Breach Wizards. Secret Weapon was the only title we've ever done where people like get kind of what the game is from the title.
Just from the title, yeah.
Some people are just sold right away. This next title is not going to be as good as that. I can pretty much guarantee that. But it was just a question of like, is there anything we can convey with a title? Because titles are very difficult, and most titles do not convey anything at all.
I kind of feel like people listening right now, this is just my opinion, I feel like they should be wary of trying to prove an idea without at first trying to flesh it out. Because I don't know, like, I used to be an advocate for, if your game doesn't make sense in a sentence, you probably shouldn't do it. But I tried out my own advice on my own games. I made a game about it's like a game where you play as a dog and you have a sword and you can go and unite different breeds of dogs and do like basically medieval warfare as dogs. And you can unite. It's a great idea. I really do. I think it's a great idea. But, and I thought I executed it well. I really went for it and nobody cared. Yeah. I launched the demo and people were like, And the opposite seemed to happen with my other game, Twisted Tower, where it's like, it's story driven. There's not a really unique loop. There's not really a unique mechanic, but people are just really interested in the story and the atmosphere.
Right.
And the execution is what made it work.
Yeah.
Not the idea. So you never really know.
Once you can show something, I think vibes and art become a big part of the pitch. Like, like if you asked me to market Gone Home, I would have been like, oh, fucking hell, this is going to be impossible. Because the best thing about it is like a twist, basically. And almost everything you can say about it would be a spoiler. And but it sold really well and people were really into it because the vibe was captivating. And I think, I know you had Dan on here, and Inscription is kind of the masterclass in that. I feel like without knowing hardly anything about it, if you just see a clip of playing that game across the table from this foresty creature in a dark and spooky cabin, you're just sold on that game. You're just like, yeah, I want to play this. I don't need to know that if it does anything clever with mechanics. And of course, Dan had a similar problem where a lot of what makes that game unique would be a huge spoiler to show anybody. So, exactly. But it succeeded anyway because the vibes are so good up front.
Also, hey, if you're looking to streamline your development workflow, don't forget to check out Bezi and their new feature, Agent Mode, and how I used it to fix 4 problems in my game, Brave Boy. It makes it very easy to create and modify code directly in your projects at your approval and provides tailored suggestions specifically to your project. It's completely free to get started, and if you like it, you can get 50% off your first month of Pro by clicking the link in the description.